Here at the Independence Reformed Bible Church, we do allow for questions following the sermon. Who has the first question? I love it when it's that clear. Oh, we have it. Yes.
So, in your interpretation of this prayer, when she says about my mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, and then talk no more so exceeding proudly.
Is that a shot at Penina?
Is that Penina or is that the enemies of God?
I think it's both. I do. Because clear, I do. Now, again, we would be, taking a shot at Penina like that is definitely outside the bounds of what we consider acceptable Christian behavior. Clearly, but we have other statements like that in the Bible, especially from David, for example. Psalm 139 is a similar comment. We have prayers in the Bible that David himself would be lifted up over his enemies, and I would think that this is an answer to a similar prayer like that. Poor Penina. Penina to me is sort of tragic in this because she wasn't loved by Elkanah, but she had the kids. Stinks for her. Now Hannah has kids and she's loved by Elkanah. What a mess. And she's got Hannah talking the way she's talking. Recorded forever in the Bible. Stay away from bigamy. Doesn't work out well.
Would you see that similar as well as, with Hagar and Sarah?
Yeah,
Same thing.
It's the same deal. The rivalry that goes on, and it turns out they could not live with each other in the end. And so Abraham throws out Sarah. Same deal. Stay away from it.
Well, I guess in regards to that, though,
okay.
isn't that the same thing? Like we would say that was ungodly, that was unchristian to send Hagar away.
Okay.
And yet when you get to Paul in the New Testament, he's going, no, look, the child and mother who were not of promise but of the law persecute and afflict and mock the people of God, and so it was right for them to be driven out, because, as Paul goes on to say, God will drive out his enemies and those who mock his people and his kingdom. Is that not the same essence here?
Thank you for helping me see the point of the question. Dead on. That's exactly what Paul argues there in Galatians. There was another question. Oh, we do.
Just to clarify a little bit, since there's some visitors here, but I think when you say that in the Western culture, we aren't actively opposing the kingdom or Satan's kingdom or the unjust kingdom of the world, it's kind of like everyone's waiting for the end and this big battle and Revelation. Why do we, as Christians, you keep saying we're more comfortable with that? Is it just because most people don't want to fight right now and don't look at this as an ongoing thing? Why is that more comfortable? Because you said it like 3 times.
Yeah. It's more comfortable here because we pretty much have what's left of a Christian culture. I'll give you a quick example. Where I live in this common area where I only own what's inside my house. The area outside is common, right? My neighbor could come and stand right outside my window if he wanted to, because I don't own that, 1 foot away from my window. I don't own that any more than he does. Okay, I really don't like the arrangement, but it's what I have. But he doesn't do it. Why not? because the folks living there still have enough of a sense of privacy and private property. What happens when that's gone? This arrangement that we have is not going to work. So we're comfortable with the wicked because the wicked haven't grown yet to really threaten us all that much. They're threatening others, like the children in the womb, but they're not threatening us. So we have grown comfortable with this idea of no real conflict between the children of the wicked one, between the seed of the serpent and the seed of Christ. Because the children of the seed of the serpent haven't really bothered us enough yet. They're bothering us, but we can still pay our bills and raise our children in relative security. That is changing. You go to a third world country, it's interesting. Some of you may have read this as well. I didn't have a chance to deal with this last week, but I've read missiologists, mission people, that will argue this way. Don't challenge the gods and the traditions of the locals. You go to a third world country, do not challenge their gods and their traditions. Then they basically say, integrate Christ. You'll get a lot further with them if you introduce Christ within the context of their traditions and their worship patterns, if you will. And some will even say they're gods. I've read that in one missiologist said, the old missionaries, they want to throw out their gods. That's not the right way to do it. I got to tell you something. I only spent a short time in Zimbabwe. When you see, like I saw, a man beating his wife repeatedly, that's their tradition, my friends. That's their culture. How can we make peace with a culture like that? You see, we have, though, here. Because we've made peace with abortion, for example. It's not us. Now, if you are going to minister the gospel in that situation, are you going to eventually challenge the guy who's beating his wife like that? You better, if you're going to be an honest, godly missionary. I want to tell you something. This is maddening to hear this because the Livingstons, the Careys, they challenge the godless cultures. Our modern missiologists do not want to do that. They want to integrate them. And if you remember, when the children of Israel went into Canaan, God said, I want you to smash their idols. You aren't even supposed to put them in a museum. I just don't want to see those ugly things anymore. But I argue today that it hasn't affected us enough. You see, when you see somebody beating his wife, you say, you know what, that's got to stop. We'll go to war against that. But will we go to war against, how about this? How about the attack that the state makes with the death tax? The death tax is an absolute attack on the heritage of the family. It's horrible. We're at peace with it. Because we have enough left over. We're good. Where in the Bible can we possibly get the idea that the state deserves one single penny just because somebody died? We can't do it. But we're at peace on so many levels. It's time to go to war because they're not at peace with us. Lot found that out. Lot learned there was no peace. Yes?
Now, you talked about indirectly that the prayer talks about children. Well, verse 4 where it says the bows of the warriors be broken, we equate children as arrows, and if their bow's broken, they can't pull the children out.
Good point. Hope you all heard that. Talked about the bows of the hero or of the mighty being broken. We have in Psalms statements that children are arrows. And if their bows are broken, then what are they going to do with their arrows? Of the wicked. Great point. Good insight. That's what we hope happens. Thank you.